Like it's so funny his persona when it's just him being interviewed is so different from like his like parody MT or MBTI videos that it's really amusing to see him just be himself because he's like so flat. There's like no doubt of him being six fixed. Like he just looks scared all the time. So
Staring down the existential terror of being a YouTuber.
yeah, I think he just had like a baby or something. I don't know. This one interview I watched, he had mentioned he just had a baby. And like the interviewer tried to like coach him into like, so how's being a dad? How's married life? And he's just like, it's hard. He just had like nothing to say for himself. I'm just bitching.
Unlike a four, it would turn it into some sort of, because he types as a four, right?
Oh my God, does he?
He types as a four, so
Oh,
this is why this is even more wonderful to do, even though we're um oh wait, we're doing it, did I tell him Wednesday? Oh fuck, were we supposed to do this Wednesday? What day? Isn't it Wednesday?
what day is it?
It
Is
is
it Tuesday or
Wednesday.
Wednesday?
Oh my God, it's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday. Oh my God, Larissa.
Oh my God.
Totally went with it too. I didn't even know what day it was.
I used to watch his stuff when I was first getting into like MBTI, like getting into like really into it, like the cognitive functions and stuff. Um, and even then, I was a little like, eh. But
What do you
yeah,
mean?
I think he is an INFJ though.
I don't know enough
Like I
about.
actually do believe that, like that his MBTI typing is correct. He's not a four though,
No, no.
like obviously.
Tell just by looking at him, he's not a four. But yeah, I like your idea of him potentially being a three wing four. And I think I'm not sure if Veronica's still on nine. I have no opinion at this time. Um, ugh. Yeah, we're doing
Okay.
Frank James part two.
So he has not been typed by anybody, as far as I know, right? For Enneagram.
Nothing I noticed, but I looked for like 20 seconds. So do you
Like
know?
I'm sure there's something on Reddit somewhere.
Yeah, like PDB.
Yeah. Have you seen
Just
anything, Omar? Whoa.
let me look at PDB right now, actually.
Oh, I just realized that means personality database.
Yeah.
I never know what the PD
Hmm.
jokes are. I'm like, what are they talking about? Okay.
Beetle, cesspool.
It is a cesspool, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah, four wing five. Um, interesting.
Yeah, four wing five.
Four wing five and their pop in YouTube. Okay.
Yeah. And their, relatableness and their, quirky funness for sure.
He's just integrated, guys. It's high health levels. Okay. So
Sunny four.
so yeah, it's the guy with the dark hair for those of you who've been spared, right, James? In your typing journey. I feel really mean saying that. He's probably lovely. Um,
Yeah, he seems like a nice guy, honestly.
we're
Yeah, he's very
so
pleasant.
we're all social doming like Max.
But I mean, if you want to say pleasant I don't know, he's
Sure, we'll
pleasant.
sure we'll get meaner as we go on.
I didn't know there was a company.
Yeah, it's the Myers-Briggs company.
But how do
So,
they get money? So what are some of your weaknesses?
Uh, well,
Okay, so this means that I'm more prone to depression, and so it
yeah. So when they get
manifests
depressed,
itself.
yeah,
Yeah, whatever. So
No, exactly. That's a good point.
do you think that's like true? That's valid? I'm with Frank James. He's a fellow YouTuber, expert on personality tests.
Classic four ring five poses right here. This is why I thought he was a seven just off first glance. I was like, oh God, this is some seven cringe. And I felt it inside of myself.
I think it's just like, because like if you look at his earlier stuff, like it's not as bright. I think he just realized that in order to hack the YouTube algorithm, that he needed to kind of make the aesthetic more poppy.
It's just like a good 4-wing 5.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
just like a 4-wing 5 would do.
Types, MBIT or MBTI to Myers-Briggs type indicator?
Yeah.
Okay. How'd you get into that?
It's kind of by accident. I just had my
By
brother
accident.
told me about it one day. He was like,
The guy, what do you
He
think the guy,
just stumbled into it like a little lost lamb.
I feel like the interviewer is like did like no prep work. He's like MBT, MBIT. What's that? Like,
how did you guys get into MBTI? Did you start there? That's where I started.
that's where yeah, that's
Yes.
where I started.
My
Well,
Um,
I did read like an Enneagram book like forever ago in the library, but none of it made sense. So I just put it back on the shelf. It was probably like, I don't know, one of Don Risso's early books. But yeah, then I mostly was into MBTI for the longest time. So
yeah, I was like passively into it as like a kid. Like, you know, like my friend's mom was like, you guys should take this test or whatever. Um, and then I got like really into like all the cognitive functions and shit because I was dating someone who was like really into it.
that's also like how you get into astrology.
Yeah.
How did you get into astrology? I dated somebody who was really into it.
yeah. I think my ex made me who I think might be an 853. He was like, do this like narcissistic personality disorder test because an 853 thought I had NPD. Anyway, so I did it and I rated way lower than him, but then we started doing a bunch of tests on each other and we somehow found like the 16 personalities thing.
You guys were just like competing with tests, like sending tests to each other to make it seem like the other one was crazy.
Like, yeah, I think he probably wanted to prove that I was crazy, but it just proved that he was like a psycho. Anyway.
like talking about it with some friends, and he was like, "Hey, man, you know, we think you're this personality type," and I'm like, "Okay, cool." It was in the back of my mind for a few months, and then I eventually took the test, and I got the same type that they said that I was. So I was like, "Oh my gosh, this must mean something." So
How did they know what you were?
they were just guessing, you know.
Didn't.
And I mean, you know, the type is INFJ, which I come to find out is like the type that a lot of people get on the test anyway. So
It is.
yeah.
I also just want to comment on his beautiful 4 fashion. his
Right.
sandals.
He's so unintentional with all of it. Like it's kind of funny. Leads me to an attachment type for sure.
But is he 3 or?
Hmm. He seems like a little bit like I just kind of stumbled into this. Somebody said, "This is what you are." I took the test and that's what I was. It's like doesn't seem super assertive to me. But
He
he
doesn't
does
vibe
look
as
really polished.
yeah, he looks I feel like too polished for a 9, but he doesn't vibe his gut last. Like his cadence, you know? He seems really like even keeled, I guess, for someone who's gut last. Although maybe triple attachments are gonna seem even keeled kind of no matter what.
Yeah.
I mean, if you
It's because like it's like attributes that they want to be.
yeah, it's kind of like if you answer the test right, you get INFJ, or you get NF something.
It's mostly genetic. It's like finite. It's like in your brain.
Oh,
Yeah.
so the actual psychological studies are kind of still out on that. Now, obviously, Myers-Briggs isn't scientific, and I know people in the comments are going to be like, MBTI pseudoscience. Like, yeah, okay, you got me. Or they'll be like,
It's kind of in the same realm as astrology.
Yeah, people. Yeah, I know you guys are gonna say MBTI is astrology for smart.
Social dom and a six fix.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Like he's like, I already know what you're gonna say, people. I'm gonna go ahead and cut that off just so you know.
Yeah, that's super social dom.
It's probably a 6 being 7 too.
Yeah, maybe.
It's
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Well, okay, touche. But like real, the hard science psychology, they're even not sure. I think it's sort of like, we think it's 50% genetic, 50% environmental. It's sort of like you have all the genes for your personality, and then certain things in your environment either activate it or not. It's like you might have the gene for a certain disease, but you never get that disease, but you have the gene for it. But maybe someone else could have the same gene, and environmentally it gets activated for them to have that disease. I think it's kind of the same for personality.
Okay.
But yeah, ultimately I think you're kind of born with.
Yeah, exactly. Personality is a disease. We're all dying, and it's horrible. He's tapping into his wing.
There's something like not concise about what, like there's something kind of not, he's kind of rambly.
Yeah, he's kind of rambly. I don't think he's a 6 core either.
Oh no, no, definitely not. It would either have to be 9 or 3.
I think he's head last, but like 6 being 7.
Yeah.
Because he does all these like comedy skits and stuff that like kind of have that like 6-7 humor, but it feels really
Like
it just feels a
barely
lot more
getting,
like low key. What?
like he's just barely getting there. Like it's just like it's a lot of effort to muster up that kind of like energy.
But that's what the people want, I guess. He's got like
Well, he's smart. I mean, he's probably made a lot of money.
Like look at his face, just like in this like frozen. It's like a blue steel like 3-wing 4 look. Like
Yeah.
he has like to me like extreme like heart type body language. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like you're trying to like portray yourself as like a portrait like in real time while you're talking, you know? Like it just seems like hearty as fuck to me. Like compared to like a gut core.
Mm.
You may have.
Look at his eyes too. Like it's not like there isn't like
He
the
looks,
nine
I
like
mean, to be
seconds
honest,
silent.
he looks a little bit dissociated. I'm trying to find the assertiveness. So like if I like yes, he does look pretty soft, I want to say. Like I see what you're saying. Like there's something definitely like in the heart space going on for sure. I'm just not seeing the assertive qualities, and I'm not seeing like it would be positive versus what competency, and then withdrawn versus the withdrawn versus the assertive. So I'm just looking for those.
Yeah, and I guess also depending if he's social self-preservation or if he's self-pres social, because self-pres dom would make him seem more competency oriented as well. So that's potentially.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, are we getting like 0 rejection in his overlay? Like he's probably 9-1 fixed, right? Like
Yeah.
I think he's the frustration overlay Bermuda. Or
yeah, I think 0 rejection can kind of be like a pseudo not competent, like almost. I don't know if that makes like there's no like awareness of leverage in a given situation.
No, he seems pretty refined. So that's definitely some of that frustration too. Like, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, his body looks frustration-y to me, which is why
Mm-hmm.
before I actually watched these videos, or like not this, but like just a little bit of interview, I was like, he's probably 713 or something. And then I was like, what? Wait, what? When I was watching it. Anyway.
With a general personality that then gets kind of more defined. as time goes on.
I mean, he has 3 hair.
Yeah.
His hair looks great.
Honestly, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
TJ.
The INFJ, yeah.
Do you know what celebrities are?
Okay, maybe this guy's a 9-wing-8 or something. He's just not even.
He's like, whatever.
What?
Like ISFP, what?
He just starts scratching his dick and like doing a line of like ecstasy or something.
Oh my God.
That are supposed to be kind of like you.
Yeah, well, a real good basic example of an INFJ that a lot of people outside of England might not, or the UK might not know about, is Darren Brown, who's like a
magician.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So he on Netflix, he has a lot of specials where he's basically like.
Do you guys type? Darren Brown's a sneaky little fucking 7. I don't know if I'd give him my INFJ. He's a little, he's got to be like NTP or something, right? Or I guess maybe
I think I'm too outside of the UK to get that reference.
You don't know who
I
Darren?
don't know exactly.
Oh, Omar,
Yeah.
you're for such a treat. If you have Netflix, watch The Push. It is,
The Push. Okay.
yeah, it's some social engineering shit. It's like wild. I think that's what it's called. Anyway.
Like trying to run a psychological experiment where he's getting people to do certain things. So it's all about what are the patterns of human behavior and how do we influence that? And it's a very, that's like a stereotypical kind of INFJ. And he is a
Is that?
I think what I'm definitely seeing is SOSP. Like he's kind of going into like some meta shit here. Like I mean, and just the fact that he's so interested in personality kind of leads me to SOSP.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, it's kind of like almost the default assumption of like people in like personality spaces, I guess. Like probably the majority of people in like who get like really into it are SOSP.
Yeah. He's not referencing a lot of like real tangible details. Like it's a lot of like very lofty kind of framing that he's using to talk about like his personality type and what other personality types of people he can reference. It's just kind of, it feels more like that lofty SOSP space for sure.
Yeah. I guess then we want to see if he's doing social 3 or if he's doing social 9 then.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't know. I mean, we have other things we can look at and like look at this kind of.
I'm finding this interview boring, so I don't know what that says.
If you want to see him like not being a head type, like there was like he did a collab with J-Reg, who's like a social 6, Bermuda, like 693. J-Reg is like bouncing off the walls like mentally, whereas like Frank James seems a lot more like even keeled. Like J-Reg did a lot of like framework shit because he's like a 6. So he's like obsessing over like the political compass for a while, and then he was like, so he kind of like brought him into collab.
Video for you all. We're going to be combining 2 fields that perhaps should never touch, okay? Politics and personality. I actually thought Myers-Briggs was totally bunk for a while, but then I started drinking a bit of the Kool-Aid that you were selling, and I'm starting to think there's some legitimacy to it. What I propose is that we put all of those 16 personality archetypes onto the political compass.
It'd be interesting to see what types are Nazis. That's what I'm looking forward to.
How about we try to classify a centrist type first?
So if we start off with
boy.
ESTJ, this is a very practical personality type, as well as the personality type is very much focused on others and likes to kind of boss others around,
Right.
like just in their personal lives. So I could see them being more on the authoritarian side, and they could go either way here, but I would actually put them maybe a little more toward the left of wanting equality, because the J types in general are focused on how can we make things fair for people. So very similar to the ESTJ is an ISTJ, which I think would be somewhere.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm seeing 3 here, Omar.
I feel
I'm
like that,
seeing
like
9. I'm seeing philosopher of the universe, 9 wing 1, SOSP. Oh yeah, this is the one where he just bored the pants off of me. Oh my God.
Are you wearing any right now, Veronica?
I'm wearing very tiny shorts, but they are there.
I feel like I understand.
Also, like, I want to say, like, I don't think anybody thinks he has SX, but it'd be interesting to watch dynamics with women. If he's flirtatious or
Yeah,
not.
it's very awkward.
I think the whole like chest hair like cleavage thing that he's doing, like that's a killer SX display. What are you talking?
His joy de vivre.
Get lost in the poetry of my chest hair.
And on a level that is not easy to express. Like, even though we're not able to communicate with words, I feel like I really do kind of get what he wants and needs, what he's feeling in any moment. But maybe that's just me telling myself a story and I have no clue. I don't know.
There's no real way to know, but there is this.
Hold on, can we pause that? He said he's telling himself a story, but there's no real way to know. That just seems withdrawn as fuck.
Oh, I was gonna say that just sounds like a 6 like fix.
Yeah.
Like ending a thing with like, but I might be wrong. Like, like who knows?
Well, yeah, that too. But like I mean, it's definitely there. But like, so like the withdrawn types, they have like this really rich inner space. Like they have a really rich inner life. But like their gut last, like technically, like or their gut isolated. So like actually manifesting what they're feeling into the outer world is a little bit more like it's like a stutter basically. It's like a stutter to that like actualization. So it just seems it seems like a withdrawn thing to say.
You guys don't think 6-wing 5 fix though instead of 6-wing 7?
No, he's got that kind of puppy doggy, like it just seems really like homeboy pup dog kind of cuteness.
He seems really flat to me though. Like I almost
Yeah, well that's the 9. That's like
I think it's just 9-3 stem.
yeah, it's just kind of like when your image in 9, it's just kind of like you're just like a still reflection moving through the world. Like it's
I mean, I think it's worth saying that like INFJ is kind of like the Bermuda of MBTI, like a little bit. Like not that like it's like the 369 of MBTI, like not that it's like it's supposedly one of the rarer personality types, I guess, but like um it's very like kind of like I don't know, like empathic, like it's like I'm an empath like type kind
yeah,
of.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
How does he
Yeah,
say
no, it's like really
he's definitely a 9.
yeah, like he said how sensitive he is like several times, like especially in his older videos.
I think he'd be a 9, honestly. That's fair.
His wife.
Like I would just have to see something. I would have to see him be like stepping over some people in a conversation to be an assertive type. Like it's not like they're like just rude, but like
That's
there's
fair.
ways that assertive types will just be like move the conversation along, or they'll like take an initiative, or they'll just like like they're just like kind of controlling a little bit the way that things are going for them. So I would just have to see that, and I haven't seen it yet. The other interview with the other 9 girl, like her, they're like 9 on 9 immediately, right?
Her little like 9
Oh, look at their cute little faces. Oh my God. I don't know. I just don't feel like the precision of 5 at all. He just feels like frustration-y.
He's got like a silly quirkiness that like
Yeah.
6.5s can be funny, but it's like it's more of like sharp, like kind of biting observations, you know?
Mhm.
Like
Yeah,
it's
it's very
a
like,
really different vibe than the like kind of wacky, quirky.
Refer into his emotional experience and to hopefully mirror it as much as possible to look over his emotional well-being. So you want to be in sync with how he feels and make sure you honor it as much as possible.
So,
Yeah.
because it's kind of balanced. So I see the sensing, I see the intuition. I feel like the more you get to know someone, the harder it is to pick apart the preference sometimes, because you're always able to think of really good exceptions to, whatever case you're trying to prove for one or the other. Yeah, but I think TE dominant is pretty defendable of a position. Although sometimes, she talks very fluently about emotions, and sometimes I'm like, am I hearing like some kind of like weird FE? Like, I don't know what's going on. But I think I think TE is probably the best case to be made there. So
This is so dry.
look at his face right now. Look at that like frightened expression. I just love it. I love like this like Bambi was shot, just a minute ago, like wide-eyed thing he's got going on.
He's like, I know all these people who are parents, and they all say like your life changes in ways that you didn't expect, and then it doesn't change in ways that you thought it would. And it was all good. Like the ways it changed were good, the ways it didn't change were good also. But your priorities shift, and you stop focusing primarily on each other as a couple, and you're focusing on your child. And sometimes that can accidentally lead to neglecting the relationship, or getting, even like just getting short with each other sometimes, because it's like, hey, we gotta, this is the priority now.
His wife ain't fucking him. I can tell exactly what you're saying, Frank. I can see it in your eyes.
So like like he looks exhausted. He's like he's in a hellscape right now. But I think he's putting a lot of positive spin on it. But like
the 3-6
notice,
cry for help. We get these in typing videos all the time. There's always like 369 cry for help.
Yeah, cry for help. He's like, please help me. But it's like he's like the dynamics, the harmonies like off now because we're introduced this new element and I gotta acclimate to it. It's like it feels very 9 to me.
That's fair.
And her, like, I don't know what she is. She looks something with 2 there going on, either 3-2 or what, but
if she's got a little senpai.
A 962.
Yeah. I've seen some interviews with her too, and like, yeah, she's super like, oh, just come into my interview area and let's talk about feelings and it's just super like 926 stuff.
Amazing. There's also, when it comes to dividing up responsibilities, that's a big thing, because no matter, like I feel like I'm a pretty present father, but no matter how good of a dad you are, you're not able to do as much as the mother is usually. So there's always that dynamic of like, man, I gotta step up my game. And even still, it's like, I hope I'm doing enough. I hope I'm not, we're not building some kind of resentment up. So communication is very important. You have to communicate more than you're used to, because before the baby.
I don't know. I just feel like he's too dry for a 6-wing 7 head, but
it almost like feels like it just feels 6-ish to me. It's just like I'm not doing enough. I need to do more to be a good father. it doesn't feel competency so much as like he's just
Super
wants
ego.
to do like, yeah, he just wants to do better, which is just like 9-6 stem going on.
Maybe communication is just like natural all the time, and there's not that much to communicate about relatively. And then once you have the kid, you're put in an emotional pressure cooker of sorts, and you're not talking to each other unless you take time to do it. And that's even like with us, our baby is like the easiest baby in the world. Everyone's telling us this is not a normal baby. He doesn't cry, he doesn't fuss, he slept through the night like when he was a month old. So we're doing well in terms of like how things, in comparison to how things could be. And even then, it's tough. So I can only imagine if you have like a normal baby who cries.
I'm sure their baby's another 369, and it's like, or it's just a 9.
He's like, hey, listen, our baby is comparatively just as good as other babies, but it's still hard. Our baby's okay, but it's still hard.
Like that yeah, that felt more 9-ish. Like,
yeah, it does. And he's like putting up, like, it's definitely a positive outlook he's doing, because he's almost like erasing the hard, like a 6 would never, like, even though I see a 6 fix, it's definitely not his core, because he's not spinning it reactive at all. It's like, he's like, well, almost self-erasing, because he's like, oh, it's not that bad, because our baby's not bad. It's just hard to being a dad. It's like, it's almost like erasing kind of the difficulty a little bit, even though he's bringing it up, which is what 9s tend to do.
Yeah, 9-wing ones get in their little digs too, and he's sort of doing these like passive, like tiny little digs almost, like about how
Oh yeah,
frustration with his situation,
yeah,
but without being like almost conscious of it, it seems like.
yeah. It's like, I'm gonna say something a little bit sharp, but then I'm gonna backtrack on it, and I'm gonna say it again a little bit sharp, and then I'm gonna backtrack on it. It's like, yeah,
it's emotionally vulnerable, but not in like a strategic or curated way. It's just like shit is just sort of spilling out, which
mm-hmm.
isn't very like hardcore.
Especially not 3, because they're like
Yeah,
monitoring
yeah.
everything from the outside, and he just doesn't feel like he's doing that.
Like it is. I mean, it is like more genuine in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
Oh
there's
yeah,
the 9 like smoothing it over aspect, but like
yeah. I'm sorry.
This is the photo.
His,
Thumbnail.
his face.
Oh, this is the Bermuda. This is the 369 cry for help. I'm not happy with my life. Please read between the lines. Please save me.
Shot of that. We've got to do a meme with this face. when Bermudas have a cry for help on an interview. I'm dying.
Veronica, are you Bermuda?
Me?
No, right? Or are you?
It's been debated.
All right.
No, you're not.
No, probably not.
Like what? Like 1 fixed, 4 fixed?
Yes, 1 fixed. Definitely not 4.
Who doesn't sleep through the night all the way yet, it would be even more trying. So it's just a matter of being aware, being conscious of what's happening. And I think knowing the personality differences also is great, because it helps me. Like I am I am overly sensitive, I think. And if I didn't know that my wife has extroverted thinking dominant, and in like objective personality terms it's masculine extroverted thinking, if I didn't know that, I would be much more sensitive. I'm able.
I don't know, man. The way he keeps framing shit just seems like 6-wing 5 had, or like 5 influence. Like it's just so like depersonalized or something. It's like my wife has NE, and my baby has triple F, and like it's like he's framing everything with this context of like everyone being like little robots or something. It's like, and I'm like, what? I don't know.
I could consider. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Couldn't that just be social self-pres to some extent?
Yeah, that's true. That's super true. Like, I'm willing to consider it.
Yeah, I'm open.
I just don't see much rejection otherwise than him just being super withdrawn. Like, I just don't see. I see more frustration at this point. I don't know if he would be as likable as he is on his little.
Is he likable? I mean, is that?
He has a lot of followers. I mean, I think he's likable, objective. Like he's just kind of. There's nothing offensive about him. He's just cute.
Maybe that does point away from 7 then, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Roller coaster.
Fair, valid. Oh my God, here's another 9.
Here's another. Yeah, not to damage score.
To like,
oh God,
a little bit and be like, okay, this is just like the communication that you would get from this type. No big deal. But it's just like when a TE dominant needs help, they'll just say, I need help, get over here now. This thing needs to be done. Why haven't you done this? You know? And to a type with extroverted feeling, it's
my feeling. Can you sense my feeling?
He's like, yeah, he's like, I'm so sensitive.
Don't really mean, to be honest.
I know, I'm like making fun of a new dad. I'm like, ha ha. Even though it's like, it is seriously one of the hardest things you go with and that you have in life is having a kid. So like, I get it, but it's just so funny. I'm sorry.
He does seem like he seems like a genuinely sweet guy. Like
he is. He's so sweet. Like it's like, just. I'm just mean.
That's like not assertive. Like my wife's like he's framing it in MBTI terms, but you could also just like redo it in like Enneagram, right? It's like my wife's like an assertive type or something, or more assertive than me. And I'm like, oh, more sensitive.
Frank James prepping. Do you prep Frank James?
Yeah, 6-wing 5s can have like a weird like privacy like thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. And we know plenty of 6-wing. Well, not plenty. We know a few 6-wing 5s who are very evasive.
But
even if they're like social, like they're gonna be getting like a VPN and some shit. You know what I mean? Like it's like that kind of like person.
I'm cooking this until I get it right. I don't care if it's midnight. What is this? Like the Soviet style of table setting? I don't really know how to cook for 1, so I always cook for 8, even if I'm alone. Do you know what the most important ingredient is for this recipe? It's togetherness. I'm so glad you guys came over today, but maybe next time,
I hate that I'm laughing at this.
Give me some warning, like maybe even.
Oh, Dad likes to party. Look at that booze stash, huh?
Okay, I'm just getting a lot of frustration energy here. He's like,
I don't know what it is. It's like his face looks 5'6", 5'6", or I don't know. There's like a thing happening, but I mean, I'm really just vibing. This is Frank's coping with my child and wife.
Jesus Christ.
My dissociating daddy pack. Wish we could see what his wife looks like. I want to see him.
Ask if it's okay to come over, because at some point it's conceivable I might have a life one day. Want to see how fast I can cook this thing? The recipe says an hour.
I don't know, like, okay, he kind of has like a Reddit incel delivery, which is also 5'6" based to me. Like, because if you're making jokes, isn't jokes more head? You know what I mean? And this feels like Reddit incel jokes to me. That's why I find them funny, but
you know what, if it just feels like no, it just feels like a 9 trying to get into that 6-wing 7 space is what it feels like.
Yeah, it is that, like, it's kind of that Reddit incel. I'm not getting Reddit incel from him though. I'm getting like BuzzFeed, which is like 6-wing 7, like he's got the like soy faces in the descriptions, like that's 6-7 area, you know? Like,
you know what, the BuzzFeed argument is sort of maybe works for me. Here, I'll watch a little.
That's what did. We just have to find the right idea that unlocks something in your brain, Larissa.
I bet I can do it in 10 minutes. Yo, everyone, watch me flip this pancake. I said watch. I am crushing it with this dinner tonight. Call me Guy Fieri. I am waiting for inspiration, all right? I can't just flip a switch and cook. This recipe has been done a million times before. There is no point in doing it again unless I can put my own unique spin on it. I am suffering for this meal, okay? My very soul is in this sauce. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
I'm suffering. I am suffering with these Enneagram stereotypes.
I think they're kind of funny. I don't know why I find this funny. I hate
It is like the most blunt and obvious. Like he just goes for the most obvious shit you possibly.
In the kitchen, okay?
Look, there's another bottle. Jesus, I don't know why I'm noticing this, but Frank likes to party. Frank's got a secret life that he's not hiding too well. That would point to Wing 7, actually. So there you go.
He liked to party.
My space. This is going to take a lot of mental energy. I'm just preparing myself. You know, when you think of cooking as a science experiment, it's actually quite fun. Safety first, am I right? Whoever wrote this recipe, I'm not sure I trust them. I mean, anyone can write a cookbook nowadays. Julia Child? Call me when she's Julia grown woman. I can't decide if we should have spaghetti or lasagna for dinner.
That's funny.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, that was funny.
Pretty good.
Okay.
Call me when she's a grown woman.
Yeah, you can really see his 6 fix shining in these. Waka waka.
You just said me when I cook.
Is that what you
Clearly, this is how 6 acts.
I don't trust this cookbook that I bought.
You've been spying on me. Oh God, now I'm doing it. Gross. I'm an attachment type now. Okay. Oh, I feel like this was so efficient and short. I almost want to drag it out. Okay, I won't. But
let's make fun of it. We can make fun of him some more.
The 145 overlay can seem like a little bit like AI generated, like for lack of a better word. Now I'm like kind of like devil's advocating back to like your perspective, Larissa.
Well, he does seem like that to me. He seems
there's
AI generated.
robotic.
It's like a little like uncanny valley vibe. Like I don't know.
Yeah, it's Reddit himself.
It's like it's like on a Bermuda, like because Bermuda is such a like normal person, like ostensibly or whatever. I mean, like I don't know.
I almost quit YouTube.
Okay, let's watch this.
And where I almost gave up YouTube.
He has a little 7 influence in the hair right here.
It was a pretty dark time in my life, and I was off YouTube for a while and figured like in some ways I didn't think anyone would care if I didn't come back. I was like,
me and my sad story with my 1.2 million subscribers. Fuck off.
No one really wants to hear what I gotta say. Some people in the comments now might be, people still don't want to hear what you have to say. But yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. That just seems so 6 Wing 7 to me.
Are we sure he's not 6 Wing 7 second? Like now I'm almost getting sold on his 6 so hard on these videos that maybe
he might be, honestly. I mean,
this is like YouTuber apology core. Like that's so like free. Like I almost quit YouTube. Like, you know, I'm in a blank room and I'm like perfectly composed and I'm gonna, you know, like be vulnerable.
Oh my God, you're right.
That's so like image like type. You know, like only an image type or like somebody image second would even do this shit in the first place. Like nobody heart last is gonna make a like my like my story like my apology. I almost quit like video like.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, like another thing, like it's just I find like the words come out of him so slowly. Like I'm just like, say what you want to say. Like I feel like he's sludging through it. So like
but he's like too articulate for like a 6 Wing 5 last fix. You know what like the 6 7 is still gonna be a like pretty good with like words, you know?
Right. Well, and like the comedy that he does, it just it feels kind of goofy. Like I don't that's not the 6 wing 5 humor, which is more like cutting and like critical.
Reddit.
You know, it's like you look at someone who has had a moderate amount of success, such as I, on this platform, and you think that must have been such a fun, easy thing. He must have been dedicated the whole way. I almost knocked over my camera just now. But it's like, no, there was a period where I was like, maybe I'll just never go back to it. There's a few times where I almost didn't go back to it. And believe it or not, there are even times occasionally now where it's like, is this worth it? And of course, the answer is yes, duh. It's
Otherwise, it's just me and the wife and the baby.
He's like looking at those checks come in. Okay, I guess it's worth it.
Yeah, I can go sit.
Like, I mean, look at his like thumbnail like picture. Like he's doing the like the 6'7" like soy face, you know?
Yeah.
Like that. That's like enough.
I hope he doesn't watch this. It would be dangerous.
Yeah, we're all just bullying him.
You know what? Some of that withdrawn and more like almost distant thing he's got going could just be the 3 with the 4 wing.
Yeah,
because they're a little bit more cool in image, you know, a little bit more distant.
I also think 3 wing 4 does the like it's lonely at the top shit like way more than like 3 wing 2. I mean, we've already established that he's a 3 wing 4, but I'm just like saying, you know what I mean? Like it's like I've succeeded, but for what? Like at what cost? Like, you know, like
That's so funny.
but
so true.
Yeah, and like what you said earlier about the I've seen that so many times on Instagram with these like various lady bosses I follow where it's like real moment and then they have this like on their face.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like sometimes stuff gets to you. Sometimes life gets to you.
What if you're a 9? You just I'm like, I don't think it got to you at all, Frankie. Look at him.
Aw.
Yeah, okay, now I feel bad.
we have to say more nice things about him now.
Huh?
We have to say more nice things about him. We have to redeem ourselves.
Oh, you little sissy.
Bullying has gone too far.
Nice. I've been really nice.
She has. She's actually been holding back.
Yeah, well, you know, this is points for 9 because they do make you feel kind of bad for them where you're like, it's like, oh, he has 1.2 million shows, but I don't want to hurt the sad 9 boy. Like,
yeah, he's just like, it just feels like you're kicking a puppy or something. It's like,
Bermuda's superpower.
it is. It really, okay, you know what? The fact that he
accomplished so much.
Something was just different now. If things were just changed around a bit, it would be better. And what I'm doing now isn't the
idea. Oh yeah, this is some frustration stuff right here leaking through.
Yeah, but it's like also vague. Like it's not precise. Like a frustration fix would add some precision to this vagueness. Like they have specific complaints. He's just like, I don't know what he's complaining about. It's so vague. He's like, I didn't feel good. I didn't like it. Like, okay, what? What didn't you like?
Ideal. And maybe I could find the ideal thing doing something else. But the thing is, what that really is like grass is greener kind of thinking.
Yeah, I'll go triple frustration shadow. Grass is greener is like the frustration pain. It never ends. Literally never
ends. I mean, he has like that one idealism going on, but it's just not hitting like a one fix would. It's just flavoring the 9. It's just like this idealism that's kind of out there.
Could be coming out more because this is like some solo thing where he's riffing at the camera.
Yeah, for sure.
You can do it in any area of life. And whenever you get into a situation, it'll have its ups and downs, and certainly some situations are not good overall. But even in the best, most ideal things, like having a great job that you love to do, you'll occasionally have moments where you're like, this is not the ideal, because life isn't ideal. And then the other side of that is there are times where you just want to quit. It's almost like you don't even think the grass is greener somewhere else. You're just like, I'm done with this. I'm getting too old for this S. Or maybe not too old, but just too run down, too tired, too like you just don't want to deal with the same aggravations over and over again. But the thing,
It's another 369 cry for help.
Poor little harassed 9. He's tired.
Will somebody just hack me and make it stop? Maybe take me off the hamster wheel.
I'm tired.
Sorry, Omar, we're kind of roasting your try.
Go off.
point this out to show you that a lot of times we want to give up in many areas of life.
Sorry, I need this 3 fix inspirational speech right now, so that's why I'm still...
It's like so heartwarming. He's tidying it up in that like sad boy 9 way, but it feels so positive. It's like, oh man, he's gonna say something good here. He came out of it. Like he's gonna like wrap this up with a nice little bow here. It's like very heartwarming.
I do think though, like compared to like a 3-wing 2 where it's like my story, like it doesn't feel that heartwarming. Like it's sort of more of just like damn, that's like it makes you just feel bummed. Like I don't know. Like I feel like 3-wing 4 it can just like go all darker. There's not like he's trying. It seems like he's trying to do that, but he's not like it's not as like much of like a 3-wing 2 like peak and valley, and then I like
No, 3-wing 2s can be like the best storytellers, I find. Like they're so engaging. Like 3-wing 4s can just be a little bit more mopey down. It's just like, so I'm definitely getting like the sad boy vibes here.
Life and success is oftentimes beyond the point. Well, it's always beyond the point of wanting to give up. You get down, you can't see it, and you just keep going. I think
it's one for AZ quotes.
Platitudes.
That's what it is that the people who succeed are just the people who keep going. And it's statistically the people who stop, 0% of the time can they succeed. But the people who keep going, at least they have a shot. Success is...
All right, I've had enough of this.
I think that like this is like another sort of observation, I guess, but like the way he kind of plays fast and loose with like statistics. Like it's just something I've noticed. That seems kind of like head last. Where he's like it's 50% genetics, 50% this, like 0% of the time. Like I don't know.
I guess that does
head last. I don't know.
I guess that does point to 6-wing 7 though too, because I just make stuff up a lot.
Yeah, that's like that 7 influence where you don't need to double check. You're just so sure what you're gonna say is absolutely right.
I'm not even sure. I just say it and then I just let the chips fall where they may. So whenever people quote me on something, I'm like I don't even remember saying that. I don't know if that's true. I know what you're talking about. I mean, that could also be him being a 9 too, because 9s just make shit up too.
Yeah, it just came out of the ether. It came out of the collective.
First revealed it to me.
Yeah.
He does seem more like 936 to me than 937, though. It's not. He's too relatable.
It's also like he's darker than a 937 would be.
Yeah, he doesn't have a puka shell necklace or like.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a sun tattooed on his neck or like a.
Yeah. No, he's like no tattoos.
Does he have a sun in his butthole YouTube episode?
Oh my God.
Here's how to make kombucha and sun your butthole for maximum carnivore power or something. I don't know, whatever.
That's like definitely a 7. Somehow this is like every person with a 7 somewhere in their stack has looked up sunning their buttholes, okay?
I follow a lot of like spiritual people and they all fall into like the same tri categories. You can tell which ones are 379s because they're all like hot and like tanned and like have like all the guys have like long blonding hair and they're always like shirtless pics with like yeah talking about sunning their buttholes and like meat and stuff. And then it's like when you see the where they go overboard on the meat eating and raw milk and shit, it's like 368 territory in this.
Yeah.
We probably follow very different people, Omar.
I'm
I'm like aware like peripherally though, you know. I don't know if we're beating a dead horse at this point, but like the like NI Dom in MBTI is also very nine-ish and just gut in general because it's like the subconscious intuitive processing function. So it's like very intuitive,
Mhm.
which seems like gutty. Like a lot of head types are like NE or like head energy and NE energy can be really similar. Um, Especially like the 6-7 area.
Yeah,
Um,
I think I'm any.
yeah, you definitely are.
You fool. Yeah, I don't remember if I'm knee tie or knee fire, or whatever the fuck it's called.
Knee tie. Knee tie.
He talks about like the NITI loop a little bit too, um, which like MBTI or like yeah, like MBTI function looping, and that seems very like triple attachment because it's
Hmm.
like it's that loop of spiraling of just like you're in your own little like insular like spiral that you really just need like you can't get out of that on your own, you know, because it's like trying to self-locate, but it's like kind of impossible, you know.
Interesting. Yeah, that's a good observation. Hmm.
Like I think that a lot of his like MBTI content is like the way that he relates to it is really triple attachment.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, and it does explain his like rise to fame.
Hmm.
Everybody relates to Frank James, the four.
Well, now you know why there's so many mistype fours is because,
Because
their
I'm
favorite YouTuber who is like totally nine is four. Four wing five, apparently.
yeah, and I guess worth noting just for people who don't know this, like nine's often mistype as four, so
Yeah. Yeah. Very common.
Yeah, I mean, it also to be fair, like I think it seems like Enneagram isn't really his forte. Like it seems like the vast majority of the content he makes is like MBTI, and then
Yeah, like a lot of the there's been more like overlap lately, but it didn't used to be that way. Like used to be like MBTI didn't really talk about the Enneagram at all. But now there's just been more overlap because I think that like people are interested in being typed in multiple systems now.
yeah, and it seems like it's like kind of almost like some kind of trend that like people are creating their own systems by combining them or something. I don't have like the bandwidth for any more systems. I can only do
it's
any.
like the personality database effect on
Yes,
society.
absolutely.
It's
Like I can't. Like I just do socionics and the Enneagram. I really can't do anything else. Just I don't have the time.
I do have the time. I just don't want. I also just feel like Enneagram just keeps it's like a well that I keep finding a new bottom to that it's just like once I hit that bottom then I'll probably end up just abandoning personality typology in general, but I also don't feel like I will because it's so integrated now into like my thinking process. It's like I don't oh God help me. I hope I don't sound like him when I'm when I'm out, but I probably do sometimes where it's like, oh, that's you doing your type, and it's like, oh God, I'm insufferable.
Yeah, well, you meet someone like in real life, and you're just like, oh, they're clearly a social sexual, like 369 or like whatever, right? Like,
Yeah, I've literally watched
So
like people just this like this horror on their face when I'm like, oh, you know what you're doing? And then I start telling them it's like, it's because you're like actually deep down afraid of like all of these things. Like I can see into your into your and then they're just like
they're like backing away slowly.
that's so like hexad. Like I literally just like almost never talk about this shit in real life.
Oh, I've info dumped on people.
I'll try to
And
like work it. I'll try to work it in really covertly without actually like referencing the Enneagram
so
sometimes.
I did like I thought of something like super six wing five the other day. I was just like, how much has the Enneagram influenced my thinking? And what is it doing to me? Like, what is it doing to my thinking? And like I just started like thinking, like spiraling about like, is this good for me? Like, is it messing up what I'm seeing? Is it messing up my perspective? Like, am I not seeing other stuff because I'm so focused on the Enneagram?
Oh.
That's okay, I got out of it.
It's like that is this kind of it's like a titty that once you reach past like the certain point the milk's gone bad but you're still drinking and it's like it's like Frank James top of his fridge. It's just like I'm mixing sourpuss, I'm mixing vermouth, like I don't know what's happening anymore.
Well, there's been times I'm like, I fucking quit the Enneagram. I'm like, I'm so sick of this shit. And then like 2 days later, I'm back like looking at Enneagram content and I'm like, okay.
I did that. I did that once, but then yeah, I got bored. I was like, I literally have no friends, and I live in the middle of nowhere. I guess I'm going back to
Yep.
the
Oh my God. Social
Oh
social
no.
woes. Social woes. I did the same thing. Do you remember on the server? I was like, I fucking hate the Enneagram. I wish I'd never learned it. And I quit for like 2 days.
Yes.
I do
I
kind
was
of
gonna
wish I'd
check
never
in on
learned
you
it.
if it went too long. What, sorry, what?
I do kind of wish I'd never learned it. It's like this like horrifying like realization.
Oh.
Like I want to go back a little. This is my Bermuda cry for help now,
Oh.
obviously.
I didn't notice how
No,
immediately you're like, oh.
but it is like at least you can get like a smug sense of superiority over people of like I understand you, get fucked.
Yeah, because you can trigger the fuck out of people once you understand the Enneagram enough. It's like you can start turning like little phrases or like giving like little, do you know what I mean? It's like I'm terrible, but it's like sometimes if somebody makes me mad enough and it's like I don't want to get in a full-blown fight, but I want to have an impact. It's like you just drop a little Enneagram nugget, and just watch the chips fall where they may.
Oh my gosh, what is that? So funny. Yeah. I like how like SO types are like, we can use this.
Well, even like if I was like some guy, I'd be using it to like pick up because like there's like absolutely a pathway of picking up people with the Enneagram.
Definitely.
I'm gonna be the next Neil Strauss.
Integrating the blind spot is resisting the urge to tell mistyped fours they're nines. That's like
Frankie J, 9 wing 1, 3 wing 4, 6 wing 7, social self pres. You are not a 4. Boom, Maury moment. You are not the 4er. No, I feel like I've harnessed some Frank James energy and I'm feeling really attachment right now. So what would that make him? That makes him a chosen one with a Karen, a Karen adjacent, and I don't even know what we call one.
Karen was
I like calling 147 Sphincterella. Triple frustration.
Sphincterella. Nice. I like that.
Kind of.
I feel like 147 is like Joker energy. Like it's
I would say the 4 and the 7 are, but like the 1 is like a little bit, I would say more, that would be more like 8 a wing.
yeah, maybe like a really like ideals driven
Yeah,
like
no,
Joker
that's like
figure almost. Like I don't know like what that would be. What villain?
like the 1-4 stem is kind of prissy because I have that overlay. I believe I like I have I have that influence and it's a little bit
Yeah.
like a little bit sharp, a little bit princessy.
Yeah. And fragile.
Oh,
Get away from me. Frank James, what a treat.